Here we are. We are live. Let's see if we can get the first people in here. I'm excited. First time using a new technology, and I'll give everyone a second to get in here and to actually get on board in here. And then, if you're watching and you can see me, you can hear me. If you would give me a quick comment in the chat, please, maybe a little thumbs up, something. As I said, we're switching to a different tool, which I'm very excited about, but I just want to make sure everything is working. So a little thumbs up, a little yes, we can hear you. That would be very much appreciated. Echoing, someone says. All right, then I'm trying to think what that could be. So you're watching on LinkedIn. Someone else says all good, so it could be on your end. Yeah, most people are saying that it's all good with the audio and video, so that is good. um I'm a little under weather. I have a cold, so if I'm going to be sipping some extra water, coughing, sneezing, all that, then I do apologize in advance. But that is unfortunately what happens when you have young kids at school. Um, so I see a lot of people here, LinkedIn, YouTube, mostly LinkedIn. I'm just, you know, trying to. So we have instantly.ai/academy says live. So I just posted a link there, um, where you can also watch it just in case maybe you're having issues with audio, video, what have you, or if in the future we have a live event and you're not 100% sure where to go, then that is our page, so the instantly live page. And then as you're on the academy, appreciable, I think that's pronounced faux, it says live. So um, I'm gonna check that out. Then Dane says the room echo could be the things that when I have the microphone this close to our mouth, it's usually all right. But I'll see if there's something I can do in the near future about that. Unfortunately, now is not the time to start making my room more soundproof. So I'm looking at the Instantly Academy and I'm live on there. That's good. So for anyone who's going to ask about replays, future learning sessions, how to learn more about this, that type of thing, then the Instantly Academy is the place for you, is the place where you want to be, and where you can learn all about outbound, AI agents, GTM engineering, how to get more results, etc. So that is where you want to go. So instantly.ai/academy is where you can learn all of this at your own pace, right? So now we are live, which is good. I really like this format, but I understand that sometimes I might be going a little bit fast, or you just want to, rewind something, watch it again. And then, the Instantly Academy is the place for you to learn at your own pace. There's some very interesting courses on there right now, coming as well. Very interesting stuff is coming there. So definitely make sure you check that regularly. Then let's see. I'll give everyone one more minute, and then we can get started. Just for everyone to join. Now um, there's the most common questions that I always get. I'm going to address the first two first. So will there be a replay? Don't leave, but yes, there will be a replay on, first of all, on your preferred channel. If you're watching on LinkedIn, on the event, you will get the replay. On YouTube, you can find the replay. And then on the Instantly Academy, we'll post the replay ASAP as well. So yes, there will be a replay. And then as for other questions that you may have, just go ahead and drop them in the chat. I read all of them, but I always take them in the last, let's say, 15 minutes of the webinar, because otherwise it just breaks up the flow too much. So I just take the questions by the end of our session here. Now, we're scheduled for an hour. I think this could be the shortest webinar that I will ever do, just because the setup of what I'm about to show you is just absolutely so flipping straightforward and easy that I could do the whole webinar in 2 minutes. I'm not gonna. I did a setup video not long ago, last week I think, where that just took just literally 1 minute to set everything up. And I'm gonna go into a little bit more detail here today, and then we'll do a full AI sales agent course for the academy soon as well. So again, you can learn at your own pace. So I'm going to start jumping in. I'm going to start sharing my screen. Before we get started, I'm just curious if anyone has any questions about AI sales agents, outreach in general that you may want to get out of the way. Then maybe I can answer some questions that will give some other people the time to join as well. And then I will start sharing my screen. We can jump into it. So William, hey William, he's asking, are these AI sales agents industry exclusive, or can they be deployed on more traditional services? Absolutely. So how it works, what you want to do is have a quick look at instantly super search. If your leads are in there, then yes, you can deploy the AI sales agent for your industry as well. So we use our own database for this as the data source. So have a look there. Are your leads in there? Great. Get the AI agent going, and then you're good to go. Then you'll be. So it really is as easy as just having a quick look at the super search database. So any other questions? Drop them in the comments. I see all of them. I will take them by the end of the webinar. I'm going to start sharing my screen, have a sip of water, and then we're good to go. We're going to get started with the AI sales agent. Again, apologies for me being a bit under the weather. Jeffrey, just start. Yeah, I got you, Jeffrey. Don't you worry. People are very excited, just like Jeffrey. I appreciate it, Jeffrey. Let me see. So I'm just gonna get. There we go. You're unfortunately no longer able to see me, but hey, that is what it is. But at least you're able to see the important part. So this is instantly. Now, if you're not familiar, we did some reshuffling here in the navigation bar, and you can navigate here to AI agents. Then, if you do that, you'll see two different options when you click Add New. So you want to click Add New. Then you have the AI sales agent and the AI reply agent. So the AI reply agent you potentially already saw. If you haven't, then definitely, and if you haven't used it yet, definitely check it out. And also check out the course that I did on how to set that up. It makes your life a lot easier. Where it manages your replies. So you're getting, you're sending cold emails, getting replies, great. Then reply agent handles that for you. But now we ship the AI sales agent. First, a big question usually is, okay, how much does that cost? So we made that very clear here on the front end. It will cost you 5 credits per lead that is being processed. And that is a lead that is being processed end to end, meaning that these are leads that we find the email, we write the email, send the email, reply to them, book the demo, everything end to end, 5 credits. So I think that's a phenomenal price just to have this set up an autopilot. And as you can see, it finds ICP matched leads, crafts the emails, then builds the multi-step outreach sequences, then itself optimizes from reply patterns, which I think is something that is absolutely killer. So it will look at, okay, what's working, what isn't, and then self-optimize based on that, which is a huge time suck usually when where you have to babysit your campaigns. And now with AI sales agent, that's no longer the case. So we're going to select the AI sales agent, and what we're going to do, so all you have to do is plug in your company URL, or you can drop in manual instructions. So if you're saying, okay, my website maybe doesn't have enough context, or maybe, okay, I have a website but we have a new product that we want to launch, or just you want to use this AI sales agent just for this specific product, then great, have Claude or I don't know who write your product description, target audience, and all that, drop it in there, and then you're good to go as well. But in our case, we want to do outreach for the entire product suite that we have at Instinct.ai. You hit accept the AI sales agent terms, and that's it. It really honestly is that easy. Now, what it's doing under, let's say under the hood, behind the scenes, is it actually scrapes your website and then uses your website to build a, let's call it a go-to-market strategy or the go-to-market playbook, where it looks at, okay, what is that this company does and what is likely to be the main vertical that they want to go after, main persona, the ICP that they want to go after. So it's already finding initial prospects, preparing initial campaigns. Now, what that looks like is it wrote a business description. So it looked at, okay, instantly, this is what they do, great. And then obviously it uses that further along in the process to actually write outreach, write emails, etc. And then there are different business offers that you have here. And excuse me, when you click into them, you can see the whole thing. So instantly helps sales teams at B2B companies book more meetings. Instantly VIP helps enterprise and agencies book more sales meetings. And then there's a lead finder as well. So here you can say, okay, these business offers are great, but maybe for this quarter or for these specific campaigns, we just want to focus on instantly VIP, for example, which is a killer service that we have, or add a new one. And then it will just use that business offer at that angle for reaching out, which is again very helpful. Then under customer profiles, there are different profiles. You can see, again, you can say we just want to use the instantly VIP service that we have for marketing and sales managers at mid-sized agencies. And then when you click into this, there's more under it, more behind it. And as you can see, it goes down a lot, and you can actually edit all of this. So let me run you through really quickly. So again, just to have, quickly recap, these are the ICPs that I will start reaching out to. First, it says, okay, these are the different business offers. You can select the different business offers, and then these are the ICPs that it will start looking for. So this is just the name that you see when you click into it. It will start looking at, okay, what problems do we actually solve? And again, that is obviously something that it will use to write the emails. And you can just delete them where you're saying, okay, it's great that I found this, but us actually talking to these customers, we realized that this is a better angle, that is a better angle, or you know what, it didn't 100% capture what we really do here. That's completely fine. You add it, and then it will start doing that going forward. But in this case, looking at sales managers at mid-sized agencies, for example, some of the problems that VIP solves for them is they have limited resources. They have challenges in actually creating the outreach themselves, difficulty managing follow-ups, email deliverability is obviously a big one. I already saw a question about that in the chat, and I will get to that in just a second. And then there's tying everything together. Now, there are main benefits here. And as you can see, some of these benefits, they are around the platform. So AI Copilot, if we want to reach out for VIP, maybe I want to take out the AI Copilot one, and I would just want to add, okay, fully managed prospecting service, for example, right? So I will add that one, and then it will focus on that. It's a one-time setup. It usually is just good, let's say, off the shelf, out of the box, but just quickly skim through it. And the more context you give it, the better it will be, right? Again, out of the box is good, but you can add these little tweaks and these little insights in the context that you only have, because in the end, it's your business and you have a pretty decent idea of what works and what doesn't. The best part of the AI sales agent is that the moment you set it up, it will do everything for you. It just makes your whole life a whole lot easier. So then unique selling points, that's pretty straightforward. So all in one platform. Then customer goals that they have. So based on the problems that we solve, what are some of the goals that they have, and then it will say, okay, these are the problems that they have, these are the goals that they have, how can our solution tie into that, just be that bridge in between and solve that. That's how it actually writes the emails, where it says, okay, we have a marketing agency sales leader, this is a problem that they have, this is our solution. Great, how do we tie all that together? And it will write the email for every single prospect. So these aren't sequences, it will actually write, let's call it one by one email. So every single prospect, based on what it is that their company does and what they do, gets unique email based on this entire playbook that we see here. Then it pulls in success stories as well. Now, this is a case study from our website. And then that is actually a case study. It can then just, let's say, name drop or mention a social proof in the email, which is obviously a great thing to have in there. And then that is up until success stories. And below that, so the keywords, this is the actual targeting. So this is the actual targeting it will use with super search, right? It will start looking at, industries, company sizes. And again, this, you can fully edit this. And if you say, okay, great, but actually, we can go after the bigger guys as well, great, just add it and it will start doing that. It really is that easy. And then um, industries, that makes sense. The job titles, all of that makes sense. Maybe we don't want to go after the freelancers, that's completely fine. All of this, the moment you're saying, okay, that looks good, save it. You can add new ICPs, obviously, and then that is good to go. Then we have guidance here. And that is the last thing that you can add here. I'm not going to go too deep into this because this is all very, um, it's a very broad scope of the things that you can add here. But it can be something as simple as write in UK English, or just custom rules that you want to set up here. So you can add up to 10 different smart rules to store, additional instructions for the AI sales agent. My advice here is don't go bonkers at the beginning. Just have it run, and then as you're seeing the performance and as you're seeing how it runs and what it does, then maybe you can say, oh, you know what, I like how it does that, but I think that maybe could be a little bit different. Great, you add a different smart rule here on the guidance, and you keep building and compounding as the agent actually runs. So that's my recommendation for the additional guidance. So there we have it. That was under the memory tab. Now it knows all there is to know about your business. What does, in our case, instantly do? What are the different offers that they have? What are different customer profiles that we sell into? What are, the problems that we solve for them? Great. That gives us everything that we need to write good cold emails, and that is exactly what it will start doing. Then here you can actually set up some of the settings. So I'm just gonna quickly run through them. In my case, I'm a big fan of autopilot mode, and as you can see, it will then also auto reply to responses, which is the same as the AI reply agent that you already know and love. So it's kind of the two things baked in one, right? Which is very, very helpful. It doesn't just send emails and then that's it. It actually sends emails and then it keeps the conversation going, and then actually tries and actually book the meetings. Under here, you can actually drop in the accounts that you want to use. Maybe you want to set some accounts aside just for an AI agent experiment, or if you're saying, hey, you know what, I'm ready to hand off all of my outreach to the AI agent, great, then just select all your accounts and that's it. Then you can set a schedule, a sending limit. Now, this isn't something that is too exciting, and you can play around with this. You can obviously just, set, a limit that is realistic with how many inboxes that you have, and then a schedule that makes sense for the ICP that you're going after. So keep this in mind a little bit. Maybe if you're going after, UK markets and US markets, then it might be a good idea to set up two different agents. Then each agent goes after a different geo, right? So after North America and UK, so you can optimize your sending schedule. Then here, I recommend leaving all of this toggled on. Just to quickly run you through. So disable open tracking, that's kind of best practice these days. You can leave it on, but there's no real reason to leave it on, honestly. Then enable ESP matching. If that's not something you're familiar with, what it does, it looks at, okay, imagine that you as a sender, you have a Outlook inbox for sending and a G Suite inbox for sending, like you probably have like 10 and 10, for example, and the recipient has an Outlook inbox, then it will try and send from the Outlook inbox to the Outlook inbox, and vice versa. If your prospect has a G Suite inbox, it will try and send from the G Suite inbox. That's just proven to get into the inbox more often, helps with deliverability. So we'll automatically do that, which is a pretty, like, it's a small feature, but it's definitely one that makes a big difference. Prioritize new leads. That is honestly one of my favorite ones. It's a really small, silly one, but what it does, and if you haven't read it yet, on our website, we not long ago published the um, cold email benchmark report, and you can clearly see that if the first email is where you get most of your replies, and then by the second email, sure, you get some replies, but after that it's just it drops off a cliff. What that does is it will first, imagine you have 1,000 leads, it will first send the first email to all 1,000 and then all the follow-ups to 1,000, instead of on day three, for example, it will send the first email to 10 leads and the follow-up to another 10 leads. Instead, it just does it one by one, if you will. And that is one of my favorite features as well, because then you can just get more people that first email, and you can just get more replies, let's say, early on. Text-based opt-out, which adds that plain text unsubscribe link to every email saying, hey, and I'm sure you've seen it, like it will say, if if you don't want to hear from me anymore, or if this isn't a good fit, just let me know and I will unsubscribe you. So we'll add that. Excuse me. And then the Slack integration. So that's very straightforward. So select the Slack channel, and you will get notifications there, as well as a daily report of activities, which is very helpful, where it will show you, okay, contacted this many people, this many replies, etc. And you can just keep tabs on things a little bit. So definitely recommend setting up Slack. And that's it. So let's have a look at the live feed. So it found 10 leads so far, which is great. And we can have a quick look. One really small, you know, really small feature that I like is the map here, where it shows you exactly where the leads are, who we're targeting, and also shows you where the replies come from. So who knows, maybe you're saying, okay, all of my replies are coming from New York, and you can actually do a New York campaign. But it's a small thing, and I thought it was pretty neat, pretty cool. But you'll usually be looking at this where, okay, you can just keep tabs on, and again, you get this in Slack as well, but it's always good just to look at it and visualize things, where you can see the status right now. It's learning, so it's looking at, okay, let's set something up, let's find some leads, let's see what's working. And then the leads are actually in here, so you can see the actual leads, and it will actually enrich them fully. So for those of you who already have worked in super search, you'll know that we have a lot of data in there, like a lot of different signals that you can look for. So it will get company news, funding, etc. And all of that can be used for the email, right? All of that is relevant to write the email. So we'll see, okay, this, for example, this company has been in business for 50 years as of 2023. It has raised up to Series B. I think maybe it got acquired by venture capital at some point. Those are all things that once you throw all of that context into the AI blender, you will get better messaging, right? So you have all of that context, then you have the problems that you solve, the solutions that you have, all of that again into the AI blender. That just makes for good messages. So you get your company description, and then all of that turns into initial email, initial subject, and these subject lines. Those are all things that we've optimized after seeing literally billions of data points. So billions of emails that we're seeing, and we're seeing what works and what doesn't. And based on that, okay, these are the types of subject lines that actually work. All lowercase, 3 words usually, and those are the ones that just really work. Look like, let's say, an internal email. Then So initial email, follow up one, follow up two, follow up three. After that, it's the chance of getting a reply pretty much aren't there. Then, as you can see, it writes the whole email based on all of that context, and then this the sentence I talked about, the opt out sentence that I mentioned. Then here all the all the emails. I'm not going to read through all of them, but initial email, then there's the follow up, and it takes a different angle based on there's the first angle here, initial email, different angle for the follow up, different angle for the second follow up, and then the third follow up is what we call a well, I call it like let's say a Hail Mary email, like a sequence saver, where where you're really like you're letting them know, okay, this is the last one that you get from me. I'll pause here. This is the end of things. But this is what we do, and then you'll be surprised how many replies you still get from just by saying, okay, this is the last time. Like, it's that people don't really want to lose anything. Like, it's a FOMO type thing, and people actually respond to that pretty well. So I'm a big fan of that angle. That's it. These are the emails. They're very strong because of all the additional context that we usually have. Now, obviously, someone asked me earlier, does it work for local businesses, lawnmowers, that type of thing? Like, yes, it does, but we're not going to find too much company news or anything too exciting about those businesses, right? So the types of emails that you're going to find that we're going to write for those, they're very, very solid. They just don't have as much rich input usually as for well-funded startups, for example. Then again, the email writer that we have is trained on so much data that even from just a website or company description is able to come up with some really, really strong and solid emails. Again, this is based on billions of data points, so there's always something there. Then that's honestly everything. As I said, it could have been a 2-minute webinar. We're at 20 minutes, and the setup really is that easy. I do see a lot of questions, so we're in a pretty unique spot where you usually only have like 10-15 minutes for questions. Now we can take some more questions, which I think is good and exciting. So this is the AI sales agent. I very much encourage everyone to try it out, test it out, and just play around with it for a bit, and then set it maybe on human in a loop first, and then later on autopilot, and you'll be surprised by how well it runs. So I'm going to go through some questions. If you have any questions, then just drop them in the chat. Keep them coming. And I see some business deals taking place in the comments as well, which is always positive. I see everyone here is having a good time. All right, let me see. So, William, you asked about the landscape and cleaning, etc. I hope I've addressed your question. Then Ryan is asking, I feel overwhelmed with having to get so many domains and emails for this to work. What's the minimum? Um, that very much depends on your goals, on your market size. On Imagine it's just you and you want to book some sales appointments, then sending 2,000 emails per day is not going to work, because you're going to get a bunch of appointments. Then you have to pause the campaigns, and then you have to start them again. And it just doesn't make a lot of sense to just try and blast through your entire market that way. So instead, just say, okay, just try and reverse engineer it a bit and say, what am I looking to achieve here? How many demos, appointments can I realistically take? What is my close rate from cold outbound? How many clients does that mean I will add per month? Great. Then you reverse engineer that, and you see how many emails you should be sending based on what currently your average reply rate is. If you don't have that metric yet, maybe go with, let's say, a 2%, which is a conservative number in a lot of cases, not in all of them. And then just do crunch the numbers. If you need to send, for example, 100 emails per day, then with between 15 to 20 inboxes, you're good to go, and you can get done with a couple of domains. So it really just depends on the metrics that you're working with. Then Ilya is asking, can we upload the leads manually? Not for now. For now, it really is a fully automated process, so end to end, and there's no option yet to bring your own leads. I'm not sure that's on the roadmap. For now, it really is the focus. It really is on the end to end prospecting flow. Then does it validate the emails? Yes, it validates the email as well. It finds the emails using our waterfall method, then validates them. So definitely. And then the credits are charged if the agent is able to successfully execute the end-to-end task, email, reply, book. Now, no, the credits is charged when the agent is able to successfully send the sequence. As in, we find the lead, find the email, validate the email, write the sequence, send the sequence. So it's not a 5 credits per book meeting thing. That would be, unfortunately, too good to be true. Then let's see, does that mean if we use AI sales agent, we don't have to use super search to find emails, verify, and enrich profile? No, it does it automatically for you, and it charges the same credits, right? So the credits that you're using now for super search, it uses them for the AI sales agent, but no, exactly. You don't have to go into super search, find the emails, and drop them into the AI sales agent. You just tell the AI sales agent, this is who I want to go after, or this is my business. AI sales agent tells you who you should be going after, and it does all of that for you. Then Andrew is asking, does this also work with LinkedIn outreach? Not for now. We do have those integrations, as you are probably aware of, with HeyReach, AimFox, and Valley. But unfortunately, those aren't in here yet. Then again, this is the first launch of the AI sales agent, with many more new launches yet to come. Then, excuse me. What if I have a campaign in process, which is my first one? Would I just start a new campaign? Yes. So it's not able to take over existing campaigns. Just go ahead and start a new campaign with the AI sales agent. Then distracted by the Pokeball extension. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that scraper. If you don't know what it is, then shoot me a DM. Does each rep have their own AI sales agent, or how does this distribute the leads across the company? It's per workspace. Now, if you go under settings and then under accounts to use, then you could, for example, say, okay, this sales agent gets these accounts from rep number one. Let's call him John, right? So AI sales agent, you name it John, gets all the accounts from John, and maybe gets his territory as well. Then, Caroline, you get, you set up your inboxes with sales agent two, and then that is all for your ICP or for your territory, for example. So you can set up different agents and then give them different inboxes for the different reps that you have on your team. I have, let's see, Dennis. This might be a bit of a tricky question to answer on here. Let me see. I have 2 email addresses warming up. Number 2 will be 7. So you need help syncing instantly with MailerLite. Yes. So definitely reach out to support or check the Slack community that we have. If you're not in there yet, check out the Slack community. We have channels in there where you can ask your questions, and we can jump in there and help you with your specific integration question. Then, can you add HTML email formats for the AI agent to send? Not currently. You don't have. Now, going back to deliverability, this is the control that you have over the emails. We really fall back to, let's say, cold email best practices by saying we're going to try and send, especially if you disable open tracking, send us plain text-based opt-out, not links, etc. But we write the email so you cannot actually insert HTML or add images or any of that. So that's not an option currently. Is this better than Apollo, Donna? In my personal experience, yes. then again, that's up to you to find out. But definitely reach out if you want to do a full comparison. We're happy to show you. And in most cases, the answer that it depends. It could be that you have a very, very specific workflow that may be better with a different tool. But generally speaking, instantly is absolutely at the top of the food chain. Then, once our agent is live, can we export CSV files of the emails found as records to track? That is a great question. You can currently not export them. You do have full insights, and you can set up webhooks, for example, where if you go to automation integration, you can set up webhooks there. For now, that is honestly a real question because I tried it today. I'm not 100% sure if that also gets the AI sales agent emails. So that is a very good question that honestly I would have to answer later. So if you don't mind, shoot me a DM on LinkedIn. I will ask the team, and then I can answer that better for you. That's a great question. Then Simon says my AI agent doesn't do the follow-ups. That is very, very odd because that's not something I've heard before. So definitely reach out in the chat or in the Slack community. Better in the chat usually, because then the support team can directly look into your workspace, into your account, and see what might be going on. It could be that maybe your inboxes aren't connected or showing an error. So first look at your email accounts, and if all looks fine there, definitely reach out and we'll get you sorted. Then how does it send emails on autopilot? It just does it use your inboxes and just automatically sends the emails for you, just like an AI agent. Then, so other metrics that I have to know so I can know how good or bad are my campaigns. Definitely check out our cold email benchmark report, and you can use that for benchmarking. So that is, if you go to instantly.ai and then in the main navigation, you can see the cold email benchmark report. Then, will there be a Teams integration? What about bidirectional sync with HubSpot? We already have by sync with HubSpot. As far as I know, that sort of goes back to the question earlier. As far as I know, that currently doesn't cover the AI sales agent, but definitely reach out on LinkedIn, because I'm going to ask the team about this after we jump off here, just to make sure that that I'm fixing that gap in my knowledge. But if it's, if you're talking about instantly, generally speaking, we already have HubSpot integration as well, webhooks, Zapier, all of that. So you're able to solve most of your sync and integration issues. Then when it comes to AI sales agent, I will figure it out for you. Then other integrations are being asked. We're adding integration at a very, very rapid speed. So definitely stay tuned for other integrations. Then Sean's asking, can you configure the leads, find it to a specific territory only? Yes, you can. You can do that based on geographic targeting. So jump into Super Search and see what you have available there when it comes to the different, geographic targets. You can do per city, per region, etc. So have a look at that, and what you see in there is what the AI sales agent has access to as well. Then, so you've connected on LinkedIn. That's good. I appreciate that. Will we get a copy of this recording? Yes, I see you're watching it on LinkedIn. Just when this event finishes, it will be right then and there on LinkedIn, and then soon also instantly.ai/academy. Then this is my first time tuning in. I appreciate it, Dorissa. How do I get started? Head over to instantly.ai and sign up there or book a demo. And if you want to start learning for yourself, head over to instantly.ai/academy, and you can just get started learning about cold outbound, and you can actually get started on the right foot. Then, has anyone tried instantly to reach out to PI attorneys? I personally haven't, but instantly has thousands and thousands of users, so I'm confident people have. Then, can we manually upload a list of leads? Not for the time being. Do you need to set AI reply agent at the same time for it to follow up? No. So that is, let's say, baked into the whole experience. So that is, it's a package deal. Let's put it that way. So just end to end management. So reply for you. How much will it cost in dollars, not tokens? That depends on how many tokens or credits you're buying. If you're buying more credits, then the per credit price goes down. So then naturally, the dollar price of it goes down as well. So definitely check out instantly.ai/pricing, and you can have a look for yourself. Then does Instantly AI Sales Agent only pull Google MX record emails? I'm not 100% sure what you mean by that. So yeah, reach out to me and clarify that for me if you wouldn't. I'll be very happy to answer. Then where are the emails sent out from? The idea is that you either add your own email account or accounts, or you buy them from us. That way you protect your main domain, and those email accounts, those will be used to actually send the emails, and the AI agent will manage everything end to end for you. Then can you run outreach for multiple companies through one account? Yes, because it is like the memory is per agent, right? So if we're quickly going back to the first setup, we dropped an Instantly AI as a domain. That is one agent. So that is, the Instantly AI sales agent. You can then just add, Microsoft.com, and that is the Microsoft.com AI sales agent, and so on. So yes, that works. Just make sure that when you go to settings and accounts to use, that it's using the right accounts. Then does 5 credits include the email information? Yes, that includes everything. Then can we get the list of leads to use on other platforms to reinforce the outreach, as in multi-channel outreach? Not currently, but again, we do have that already into our platform. So to add that to the AI sales agent isn't a huge step, and definitely something that we're investigating. We don't have a timeline for it yet, unfortunately. I'm in Instantly VIP. This is already being used. Now you get the VIP service. That means that we have our GTM engineers actively managing your accounts. So you get something even better, which is, highly trained humans actually using it. Then looks very promising. Leads count seems a little low. That's because it's the first in that, first initial learning phase, and it's just a quick demo. We have users sending hundreds or thousands of leads or emails with this per week. Then we've not had the confidence that Instantly alone could cover our leads needs. Then we have millions, hundreds of millions of leads in the database. So it really just depends on who you're targeting. If you're targeting someone, an ICP that's very specific, it might be a different conversation. But if you're saying, hey, we can target fairly broadly, then Instantly can very, very likely help you. Definitely reach out for a demo, and then we can just quickly run through your ICP and actually, look at some numbers. And I'm confident we're able to help you. Then can the agent write in different languages? Not currently. You can try that with, with the different, instructions, but for now, English is the main supported language. Then can instantly scrape data from person's website and write personalized emails? Yes, that's exactly what it does. Then do you need to set AI plays? I already answered that one. No, that is actually baked into it. If the leads are not relevant, can we delete them? Not for now. However, you can adjust all the targeting. So if we go back to customer profiles here and you look at the ICP, so you can just really, tweak this, and most of all, tweak this is where we can start, excluding keywords, titles, all of that. And then it will just really get you a very, very targeted ICP, meaning that the leads will, I'm not going to say in all cases, but in most cases, be very, very relevant. Then what if you want to send them straight through to self-service sign up? Then you can add that under guidance here, and you can say always make the CTA about signing up at the website xyz.com, for example. Then does the AI sales agent come with the Grow plan? It comes with every plan. It just uses credits. So whichever plan you're on, you can use the AI sales agents. Then what are the data providers with which you partner as part of waterfall enrichment? We have a lot from find email to contact out to lead magic to our own email finder. So we have a lot. You can add your own API keys. You can set up different ones. You can change the order. So have a look at Super Search. We have a lot of different integrations. Can I bring my enrich list with custom emails from Vibe prospecting? Not for the time being, unfortunately, but you can obviously add those in your normal campaigns. You can then ask Copilot to write a sequence for you, or you can import them into Supersearch and then use the AI write email function to write a personalized email to every single lead there. So just quickly circling back to all the people asking to bring my own leads, add your own leads to Supersearch, use the AI email writer so that it will write emails for every single prospect, and then just turn on the reply agent, and that way you can contact your own leads. It's not the it's not the same experience, but it will get the job done, and it's as close as it gets to this whole full autopilot experience. Then let's see, are the agents that the agent find, the leads that the agent find the same as super search? Exactly, those are the same ones. Then let's see. Um, right. So Matt, monetary cost, that depends on how many credits you're buying. So just have a look at the pricing page, see how many credits you want to buy, and then let's say the token value changes based on how many you buy. Then it's just better than a day at the park. The good thing is you can have both, right? You set it up and then you go to the park. So let's see. I see multiple people. So does that mean all the emails are going to sound exactly the same, right? So no is the straightforward answer there. Just because the context for every lead is very different. So Lewis, you said, okay, spoke with a prospect, booked a meeting, the prospect showed me an email exactly the same with the same subject line. I would love to investigate that, because having the exact same email from different outbound teams is extremely hard. So if not impossible. So I would really like to dig into that and investigate that, because that's very odd to me. So shoot me screenshots. Happy to have a look at it, but no, just because every context for every lead is different, and we use the same structure for emails, but no, if company A is reaching out to a lead and company B is reaching out to a lead, it will look different, just because what you're selling is not the same as what someone else is selling. So unless there's no unless there's the emails will not be the same, simply because it always writes new emails for every prospect. The context for every prospect is different, and the context for what you and your business do, that's different as well. Then, so what are the credit costs? 5 credits per lead and complete the sequence. Then let's see, the last couple of questions, and then we have to start putting an end to this. So, do we still have to set up each email box for outbound email campaigns first before using the tool? It does need email inboxes. You could say, I'm going to use instantly done for you email accounts, and then you don't have to do any setup, and it will just automatically select them. Or you can set up your own email inboxes and add them to the Insta platform. Both work. I definitely recommend going with, recommend going with done for you. So how do we get access to AI sales agents? Is that the AI agents tab? Yes. So you go to AI agents here, then add new, and then AI sales agent. That is the one. Then if you don't see the live feed, etc., then it might still be populating. So just give it a second, and then you should be able to see all that. If not yet, then reach out, but that should populate in just a second. Excuse me. Then you're welcome, William and Dorissa. Then William. So another question about the context. Just definitely, upload them into add them to a list within the super search tab, and then have AI write emails and add them to a campaign. You don't need the sales agent for that because you have the reply agent to do that for you. Then let me see. A lot of thumbs up, so that's good. Um, Someone joined late, so that is 5 credits per. Then let's see. And then Lee McDonald, I think this question right here. And then that is probably the last question I'm taking because I think this question covers the other questions very well. So about editing prospects for now, everything is end to end. Let's say done for you. Now at the time, there's no way to edit what is going out. But if you're looking at the initial emails, at the first emails, and you're not a big fan, then definitely go under memory and guidance and add some guidance there, saying, okay, I want the emails to be a bit shorter, a bit longer, mention this or don't mention that. So you definitely have influence over the general guidance on how things are being written. So if you have internal writing guidelines, then definitely add them in here, and then it will pick up on that and use that to influence the emails that are being written. Now, it doesn't, like, we still use a lot of our own guardrails and frameworks just to make sure that we write solid emails and nothing breaks, but you're able to influence how everything is being written. So definitely have a look at that, and hopefully that is helpful. And then Robert, will there be recording of this presentation? Yes. So I see you're watching this on LinkedIn. The moment I close this live stream, which will be in about a minute or two, then just wait a second, and then you will have the replay right then and there in the LinkedIn event. It will also be on instantly.ai/academy, where you can learn more about AI agents and everything else that we do at Instantly, as well as call outreach. And if you're watching this on YouTube, the same goes, you will catch it on YouTube. So I hope that was helpful. I see some people asking about, let's see, like a little love from the support team. Definitely. So I think you asked earlier about the lead count. Reach out to support or drop something in Slack, or shoot me your let's say ICP requirements, and I can have a quick look within Super Search. And then if you're saying, okay, we're definitely a little bit more niche, now that's something that's definitely worth looking into and seeing how well the coverage is there. For now, the support team hopefully can help you, and if not, shoot me a message on LinkedIn. We can have a look. Thanks very much for tuning in. My apologies again for the excessive coughing and sneezing, but I hope you learned something. I hope you're able and excited to set up your first AI sales agent that actually does outreach for you. Someone asked if it's better than a day in the park. The best thing is, as I said, you can have both. You can set this up. There's no more babysitting your campaigns. There's no more thinking, oh, are we actually sending? There's no more, oh, I need to add new leads to my campaigns. There's no more, okay, what's working, what isn't. Does all that for you, off the shelf, out of the box. It will run your outbound for you, and you can either go to the park, go fishing, or actually run your business and not be worried about outbound, about results. So everyone, thanks for joining. For more learnings, for more webinars, for more live sessions, definitely check out instantly.ai/academy. You can see a lot more from me if that's what you're looking for. But most of all, you can learn a lot about Instantly, about cold outreach. For now, thanks everyone very much for watching, and I will see you in the next stream. Bye bye.